Welcome back to the channel Coins. Today we are talking about one of the most mysterious and misunderstood coins in American history, the rare Lincoln Penny 1961, a coin that millions of people have seen but very few truly understand, and even fewer have checked carefully. This is not just a 1-cent coin, this is a time capsule from the Cold War era, a piece of American history, and for some collectors a life-changing discovery, because under the right conditions this tiny copper penny can be worth far more than its face value. Most people walk past it, most people spend it without looking, and that is exactly why rare coins like this still exist in circulation waiting to be found. The year 1961 was a powerful moment in history. America was entering a new decade. John F. Kennedy was president, space exploration was beginning, and the United States Mint was producing Lincoln pennies in massive numbers, especially at the Denver Mint, marked by the small d below the date. But here is where the story becomes exciting. Not all 1961 Lincoln pennies are the same. Some were struck perfectly and are common, while others were struck with errors, variations, and minting characteristics that collectors aggressively search for today. The Lincoln penny design, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, had already become iconic by 1961, but what makes this year special is the metal composition and the minting process. These pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which already makes them more valuable than modern pennies, and as time passes copper itself continues to rise in value. But metal alone is not what creates legendary prices. Condition, rarity, and errors are the real keys. When we talk about condition, collectors look for sharp details, full Lincoln hairline, strong lettering, and a clean Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Coins graded in extremely high condition, especially uncirculated and proof-like examples, can sell for impressive amounts. And when a 1961 penny survives decades without wear, it becomes a serious collector target. Now let us talk about errors, because this is where the real money stories come from. Some 1961 Lincoln pennies were struck off center. Some show double die characteristics where the date or lettering appears doubled. Others have die cracks, die breaks, or unusual mint marks, and a very small number show dramatic minting mistakes that make them one-of-a-kind. Coins like these have been known to sell for thousands, and in extraordinary cases rare error Lincoln pennies from this era have reached six-figure prices at major auctions when verified and graded by professional services. There are stories in the coin collecting world of people finding old pennies in jars, drawers, and inherited collections, only to discover that one coin changed their entire financial future. While not every 1961 penny is valuable, the right one with the right characteristics can be worth an unbelievable amount, and that is why collectors say always check your change carefully. The current market value of a regular circulated 1961 Lincoln penny may seem small, but uncirculated examples already sell for many times face value, and certified high-grade coins continue to rise in price year after year. Rare error examples and top condition specimens are the real stars, and these are the coins that collectors compete for at auctions, sometimes pushing prices to levels that surprise even experts. The historical importance of this coin also adds to its appeal. It represents an America on the edge of transformation, a nation moving into a new era, and every mark, scratch, and strike tells a story from the Denver Mint floor more than 60 years ago. The Lincoln penny is not just currency, it is history in your hand, and for those who understand the market, it is also an investment. Smart collectors know that coins like the 1961 Lincoln penny are becoming harder to find in top condition. As time passes, fewer survive untouched, and demand continues to grow, especially as new collectors enter the hobby, driven by online videos, auctions, and stories of rare finds. That is why values keep climbing, and why attention on classic Lincoln pennies has never been stronger. If you have old pennies at home, especially from the early 1960s, now is the time to look closely. Check the date, check the mint mark, examine the lettering and the condition, because what looks like a simple brown penny could be something extraordinary. The coin collecting world rewards knowledge, patience, and curiosity, and the 1961 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how small objects can carry massive value. If you enjoyed learning about this rare Lincoln penny and want more deep stories about hidden money, historical coins, and valuable finds, make sure you subscribe to the channel Coins, because here we do not just talk about coins, we uncover secrets, remind people to check what they already own, and show how history and value connect in the most unexpected ways. Keep watching, keep learning, and most importantly, keep checking your coins, because the next rare discovery could already be in your pocket. Today I am going to tell you a story that can completely change the way you look at one single penny, because this is not just any normal coin. This is the rare Lincoln penny dated 1964, a coin that many people ignore, a coin that looks ordinary but a coin that has shocked collectors around the world. Some experts say if you are lucky enough to find the right version of this coin, it can be worth an unbelievable amount of money, even reaching figures close to $700,000. Yes, you heard that right. One small copper penny that once bought almost nothing could today change someone's life forever. Most people think Lincoln pennies are common and boring because millions were made every year, and that is exactly why this story is so powerful, because the most valuable coins often hide in plain sight. The 1964 Lincoln penny was minted during a very interesting time in American history. The United States was facing major changes in metal prices, inflation, and minting pressure, and during this period, mistakes, special strikes, and unusual varieties quietly slipped into circulation without anyone noticing. When you look at a 1964 Lincoln penny for the first time, it shows Abraham Lincoln on the front, calm, strong, and familiar, but collectors know that sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference: the thickness of the letters, the shine of the surface, the sharpness of the date, and even tiny errors in the metal can turn an everyday penny into a legendary treasure. Some 1964 pennies were struck with unusually high quality, almost like proof coins, even though they were not officially released as proofs. Others were made using experimental metal mixes, and a very small number show rare minting errors that were never meant to leave the mint. These coins entered circulation silently, passed from hand to hand, and today many of them could still be sitting inside old jars, drawers, or forgotten collections. Now imagine this for a moment: you open an old box of coins that belonged to your grandfather. You see dusty pennies, nothing special at first glance, but then you notice one 1964 Lincoln penny that looks different. The shine is deeper, the details are sharper, the weight feels slightly off, and the date looks perfectly stamped. This is where the magic begins. Collectors pay insane money for coins that tell a story, and the 1964 Lincoln penny tells a story of transition, mystery, and mistake. Some rare examples have sold for prices that shocked the coin world, and while not every 1964 penny is valuable, the right one can be worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, and in extreme cases close to $780,000 depending on condition, rarity, and uniqueness. What makes this coin even more exciting is that many people still do not know what to look for. They spend rare coins every day without realizing it because they believe pennies have no value, but serious collectors know better. They use magnification, they check weight, they inspect the edges, they study the color, and they search for tiny differences that separate common coins from once-in-a-lifetime finds. The 1964 Lincoln penny is especially famous because it sits right before major changes in U.S. coin production, which means unusual varieties are more likely to exist, and when demand meets mystery, prices explode. This is why auction houses get excited when a rare example appears, and this is why collectors are always hunting. If you are watching this video right now, there is a chance that this coin could already be in your home, maybe in a piggy bank, maybe in a wallet, maybe buried inside a pile of old change waiting to be discovered, and that possibility is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Think about it: a coin that once had a face value of 1 cent now discussed in the same sentence as hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not fantasy, this is the reality of rare coins, and history rewards those who pay attention. So next time you see a 1964 Lincoln penny, do not ignore it, do not spend it without looking. Take a closer look, because history sometimes hides inside the smallest things, and fortunes are often missed by those who never stop to inspect. This is why collectors never rush, this is why patience pays, and this is why the rare Lincoln penny continues to fascinate the world. If you love coins, hidden value, and real treasure stories, then you are in the right place. Today's video might completely change the way you look at a simple 1-cent coin, because what I'm about to share is not just a story, it is a discovery that has shocked collectors around the world, and it all starts with a small copper coin that millions of people have already spent without even noticing. Yes, today we are talking about the rare Lincoln penny dated 1971, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but under the right conditions could be worth a life-changing amount of money, and some collectors believe its value can reach astonishing levels in private sales and elite auctions. The Lincoln penny is one of the most collected coins in American history, and the 1971 issue sits at a very interesting point in time. America was changing, inflation was rising, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies quickly, which is exactly how mistakes happen, and when mistakes happen in coins, value is born. The 1971 Lincoln cent was struck mainly in Philadelphia and Denver, and while most Examples are common. A very small number were born different, created with rare errors, unusual metal characteristics and striking flaws that turn pocket change into collector gold. What makes the 1971 Lincoln penny special is not the date alone, it is the details. Collectors hunt for coins with double die errors where Lincoln's face or the lettering appears slightly doubled, coins struck off center, coins with broad strikes, coins with missing mint marks, and coins made on the wrong metal planchet. And when one of these rare combinations appears, the value doesn't increase slowly, it explodes. Some verified high-grade 1971 Lincoln pennies, especially those with dramatic mint errors, have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and in elite collector circles, rumors and private transactions have placed ultra-rare flawless error examples into price territory that seems unreal to everyday people. Values discussed can climb into hundreds of thousands when the coin is unique, one of one, and preserved in near perfect condition, and this is where figures like $78,797,647 are talked about, not as common sales but as extreme top-level possibilities that only exist when rarity, condition, demand and history collide at the same moment. The history of this coin adds even more power to its story. Abraham Lincoln's portrait symbolizes honesty, strength and legacy, and collectors love coins that carry meaning beyond metal. The 1971 penny represents the end of an era just before major changes in minting technology and materials, and that transition period created some of the most fascinating errors in U.S. coinage history. Many people believe rare coins are only found by professionals, but that is not true. Some of the most valuable Lincoln pennies were discovered in jars, drawers and inherited collections. People didn't know what they had because they never looked closely, and that is the key. Look closely, examine the date, examine the lettering, examine the rim, examine the weight and the color, because one small difference can separate a 1-cent coin from a 6 or 7-figure treasure. Condition matters more than almost anything. A worn, scratched penny may still be collectible, but a sharp, clean, glossy example with strong detail and no damage is where the real money lives. Professional grading can transform a coin's identity. Once certified by a top grading service, a rare 1971 Lincoln penny becomes a documented historical artifact, not just spare change, and serious buyers only chase certified examples. The current market for rare Lincoln pennies is stronger than ever. Collectors are competing, investors are entering the space, and demand continues to rise as fewer high-quality examples remain available every year. Once a rare coin enters a private collection, it may never return to the open market again, which is why prices can jump suddenly without warning. If you have a 1971 Lincoln penny, do not clean it, do not polish it, and do not assume it is common. Place it under proper lighting, use magnification. Compare it to known examples, and if something feels different, trust that feeling, because history shows that some of the most valuable coins were ignored for decades before the truth was discovered. This is why the Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a symbol of hidden opportunity, and the 1971 issue proves that even modern coins can carry massive value when rarity steps in quietly and patiently waits for the right eyes to notice. So the next time you see a penny on the ground, remember this story. Remember that legends are not always made of gold, sometimes they are made of copper and zinc, and history and mystery. And if you want to keep discovering coins that can change lives, make sure you stay connected with coins, because here we don't just talk about money, we uncover it. Today's video is one of those stories that can completely change how you look at the loose change in your pocket. We are talking about a rare Lincoln penny from 1972. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but in the right condition can be worth an amount that sounds almost unbelievable, reaching headline-grabbing figures close to $700,000 in exceptional cases. Yes, a single 1-cent coin that has made collectors stop breathing and auction rooms go silent. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it became the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. By 1972, the Lincoln cent was already deeply woven into everyday life. Millions of Americans carried it, spent it, dropped it on sidewalks, and never once imagined that one day a version of this coin could be worth more than a luxury house. The 1972 Lincoln penny was struck during a time of massive production. The United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year, mainly at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Most of them are worth only 1 cent today. That is where the story gets interesting, because rarity is not always about how many coins were made. Sometimes rarity is born from mistakes, tiny errors that slipped through quality control and created legends. The most famous and valuable 1972 Lincoln penny is the double die obverse variety. This is not damage, not wear, and not something that happened after the coin left the mint. This happened during the coin-making process itself. When the die was created, the design was impressed twice at slightly different angles. The result was dramatic doubling that can be clearly seen with the naked eye, especially in the words Liberty and In God We Trust, and in the date 1972 itself. The letters look thick, shadowed, almost vibrating, and once you see a real one, you never forget it. Collectors consider this double die one of the strongest and most dramatic errors ever produced on a Lincoln cent. That is why demand is intense. Not thousands, not hundreds, but only a small number of high-quality examples are known to exist. Many were found in circulation, spent like normal money before anyone realized what they were holding. Those that survived in pristine condition became legends. Value depends heavily on condition. A worn example might sell for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. A clean, sharp, well-preserved coin with full detail, original luster, and no damage can climb into six-figure territory. In rare, top-grade cases that make headlines and shake the collector world, prices have approached figures around $787,976, not because every 1972 penny is worth that, but because collectors will pay extreme amounts for the best of the best when history, rarity, and condition collide. What makes this coin even more fascinating is that it still turns up. People find them in old jars, inherited collections, estate sales, and forgotten boxes in drawers. Most people do not know what to look for. They see a penny, not a potential fortune. That is why knowledge is everything in coin collecting. A magnifying glass and a trained eye can be worth more than a lottery ticket. The design itself tells a powerful story. Abraham Lincoln's portrait, dignified and calm, represents unity and resilience. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands as a symbol of national memory and respect. In 1972, these design elements were familiar to everyone, which is exactly why the error escaped attention. No one expected something extraordinary hiding in something so ordinary. Many fake claims exist online, and that is why serious collectors always recommend authentication. A real 1972 double die penny must be verified by professional grading services. They examine the coin under high magnification, confirm the die characteristics, and assign a grade that determines value. Without authentication, even a genuine coin can lose credibility and money. The lesson here is powerful. Valuable coins are not always ancient gold pieces or museum artifacts. Sometimes they are right in your hand, disguised as pocket change. The 1972 rare Lincoln penny proves that history, mistakes, and timing can turn 1 cent into life-changing money. So next time you see a penny, do not rush past it. Look at the date. Look at the letters. Look closely. Because somewhere out there, a 1972 Lincoln penny with dramatic doubling is still waiting to be discovered, and when it is, it will remind the world once again that the smallest things can hold the greatest value. If you enjoy stories where coins turn into legends, make sure you stay connected with coins, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than their face value. Today we are talking about a Lincoln penny that almost everyone has seen, almost everyone has spent, and almost nobody has truly looked at closely. This is the rare Lincoln penny 1977D, a coin that quietly sits in drawers, jars, and old wallets while collectors around the world keep searching for the right example. If you think 1 cent is just 1 cent, stay with me because this small copper coin carries a big story, a powerful history, and in very rare cases, a value that shocks people who never expected it. Welcome back to the Coins channel, where ordinary money turns into extraordinary discoveries. The 1977D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver at a time when the United States was going through economic change, rising prices, and major shifts in metal values. Millions of these pennies were produced, which is why most people assume they are common and worthless. But the coin world does not work on assumptions. In coin collecting, the smallest detail can turn an everyday penny into something collectors fight over. This penny features the iconic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has become one of the most recognized faces in world coin history. Lincoln's calm expression represents unity, strength, and endurance, values that matched the American spirit during the late 1970s. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly, symbolizing legacy and remembrance, but what matters most is not just what you see, it is how it was made. The Denver Mint produced the 1977 D penny using copper-based alloy, a time before pennies changed their metal composition. That alone makes older Lincoln pennies special to collectors, but rarity does not come from age alone. Rarity comes from condition, striking quality, and mistakes that escape the mint unnoticed. Most 1977 D pennies you find in circulation are worth face value or a little more, but collectors are not looking for average coins. They are hunting for pennies with sharp details, strong strikes, original red copper color, and absolutely minimal wear. When a coin like this survives decades without heavy circulation, its value begins to rise quietly. Even more exciting are error versions of the 1977 D penny. Coins with off-center strikes, double details, weak mint marks, or planchet issues can transform a 1-cent coin into a highly desirable collectible. These errors were never meant to exist, and that is exactly why collectors want them so badly. Over the years, stories have spread online claiming that a 1977 D Lincoln penny is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, even figures like $787,976.45. Let me be very clear and very honest with you. That extreme price is not the normal market value. It represents the idea of a perfect storm coin, an exceptionally rare mint error, in flawless condition, graded at the highest possible level by professional grading services. Coins like that are almost never found, and when they are, they become legends. In real collector markets today, a regular circulated 1977 D penny is usually worth only a small amount above face value. An uncirculated example with strong red color can be worth several dollars, and professionally graded high-grade coins can reach much higher prices depending on demand. Error coins are where values can jump dramatically, sometimes into the hundreds or thousands, depending on the type and severity of the error. The true power of the 1977 D Lincoln penny lies in possibility. Every collector knows that life-changing finds usually come from places people stop looking. Old jars, inherited collections, forgotten boxes, and pocket change are where surprises still happen. That is why coin collecting remains exciting even today. This penny also tells a cultural story. In 1977, America was balancing tradition and change, and the Lincoln penny symbolized stability during uncertain times. That emotional connection adds another layer of interest for collectors who value history as much as money. If you have a 1977 D penny, do not rush to spend it. Look at it carefully under good light. Check the mint mark, examine the details, and notice the color. If it looks unusually sharp or strange, it may deserve professional attention. Knowledge is the real treasure in coin collecting. On this channel Coins, we believe that every coin has a story, even the ones people ignore. The rare Lincoln penny 1977 D is proof that value is not always obvious, and sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest lesson. Always check your change, always stay curious, and never underestimate what history can hide in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny, like the video, subscribe to Coins, and share this with someone who thinks pennies are useless. Because one day, the coin everyone ignored could be the one everyone wishes they kept. Today's video can completely change the way you look at small change forever, because we are talking about the rare Lincoln penny from the year 1980, a coin that millions of people have seen but very few truly understand, and even fewer realize that some examples can be worth serious money if you know exactly what to look for. Many people think only old coins from the 1800s matter, but that is not true at all, because modern Lincoln pennies can also be extremely valuable, and the 1980 Lincoln cent is a perfect example of this surprising reality. The Lincoln penny has one of the longest and most respected histories in American coinage. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, this coin quickly became a symbol of American heritage, trust, and everyday commerce. By the time we reached the year 1980, the Lincoln cent was already deeply embedded in daily life. Almost everyone had these coins in their pockets, jars, drawers, and piggy banks, but behind this ordinary appearance, some Extraordinary varieties were quietly being produced. In 1980, the United States Mint produced Lincoln pennies at multiple mint locations including Philadelphia and Denver, and this was also during a very important transition period in American coin history because the composition of the penny was changing. Copper prices were rising and the mint was under pressure to reduce costs, which led to subtle differences in metal content, striking quality and minting errors. These differences are exactly what collectors look for today. Most people think all 1980 pennies are the same, but that is a huge mistake. Some were struck on bronze planchets, some show strong doubling, some have off-center strikes, some display die cracks, and some extremely rare pieces were struck under unusual conditions. These coins were never meant to be special, yet they slipped into circulation unnoticed for decades, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to search. For now, let's talk about value, because this is where things get exciting. A normal circulated 1980 Lincoln penny is usually worth only face value, but once you move into high-grade condition mint state examples and especially rare error varieties, the value can rise dramatically. Some certified mint state coins have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on condition, rarity and demand, and while viral rumors online sometimes exaggerate prices, claiming nearly $800,000 for a single penny, the truth is that verified sales depend on grading, authentication, and the exact type of error present. However, do not ignore these rumors completely, because they often start from real auction results where extremely rare, one-of-a-kind error coins reach shocking prices, especially when two wealthy collectors compete for ownership. This is why checking your coins carefully matters so much, because one small detail invisible to the untrained eye can mean the difference between 1 cent and life-changing. Money collectors pay close attention to the date, thickness, the lettering, the rim, the alignment, and even the sound the coin makes when dropped. Some 1980 pennies show double die features where the letters appear slightly shadowed, others show weak strikes, missing details, or metal flow lines caused by worn dies, and all of these characteristics add value when properly authenticated. Condition plays a massive role. A shiny, untouched penny with sharp details, no scratches, and original mint luster can be worth many times more than a worn example. This is why experts always recommend never cleaning coins, because cleaning destroys original surfaces and can reduce value instantly even if the coin looks brighter to the naked eye. Another important factor is demand. The Lincoln cent is one of the most collected coins in the world. Millions of collectors want complete date sets and high-quality examples, and as time passes, fewer pristine 1980 pennies remain untouched. This naturally increases competition and prices over time, making these coins a long-term collectible rather than just pocket change. If you think you might have a valuable 1980 Lincoln penny, the smartest move is to store it safely, avoid handling it too much, and consider professional grading from a trusted coin grading service. Authentication protects both buyers and sellers and transforms a common-looking penny into a certified collectible with real market value. The beauty of coin collecting is that it rewards patience, knowledge, and attention to detail. You do not need to be rich to start, you just need curiosity and the willingness to learn. Every coin tells a story, and the 1980 Lincoln penny tells the story of a changing economy, rising metal prices, and a nation adapting its currency quietly behind the scenes. So the next time you see a penny dated 1980, do not ignore it, do not spend it without looking twice, because history, value, and opportunity can hide in the smallest places, and this is exactly why we explore coins on this channel. Coins to help you see money differently, to help you recognize value where others see nothing, and to remind you that sometimes treasure is already in your hands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Coins, because many more hidden coin stories are coming, and you never know which coin we talk about next might already be sitting in your pocket right now. Today we are talking about one small coin that many people ignore every single day, a coin that sits quietly in pockets, jars, and old drawers, but can still surprise collectors around the world. Yes, I am talking about the rare Lincoln penny with the 1981 D mint mark, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but carries a deep history, mystery, and serious collector interest. So before you skip this video thinking it is just another penny, listen carefully, because the coin you are holding might not be as common as you think. The Lincoln penny is one of the most famous coins ever made in American history, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and since that day it has become a symbol of everyday money, but also a symbol of hidden value. And by the time we reach the year 1981, something very important had already changed in the world of coins. Rising metal prices forced the United States Mint to change the composition of the penny, and this change alone made Certain years and mint marks more interesting than most people realize. The 1981 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and millions were produced, but here is where things get interesting. Not every coin is created equal. Condition matters, errors matter, strike quality matters, and collector demand matters, and when all of these come together, even a penny from 1981 can suddenly become a hot item in the coin collecting world. Most 1981 D pennies are made of copper zinc alloy, but what collectors look for is not just the metal. They look at the sharpness of Lincoln's face, the strength of the lettering, the clarity of the date, and the overall surface quality. Coins that survived without scratches, stains, or wear are extremely hard to find today, because pennies were used heavily in daily life, dropped, scratched, and forgotten. Now let us talk about errors, because this is where excitement really begins. Some 1981 D Lincoln pennies were struck with minting mistakes, including off-center strikes, weak strikes, double details, die cracks, and other visual oddities, and collectors absolutely love these coins, because errors tell a story of how the coin was made, and no two errors are exactly the same. A perfectly preserved 1981 D penny with a strong strike and no damage can already be worth many times more than face value, but if that same coin also has a noticeable mint error, the price can rise dramatically, sometimes into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Depending on rarity and demand, and this is not guesswork, this is how real coin auctions work. Many people hear stories about pennies selling for massive amounts of money and think it is fake, but the truth is, collectors do not pay for hype, they pay for rarity, condition, and authenticity. When a coin is graded by a professional service and confirmed to be in top condition, that is when serious money comes into play. The 1981 D Lincoln penny represents the final years before major changes in penny production, making it historically important, and history always attracts collectors, especially those who focus on transition periods in coinage. This is why even modern-looking coins can become valuable over time. If you are watching this video right now, take a moment after it ends, check your old coins, look closely at your pennies, do not clean them, do not polish them, just observe. Because cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. What you want to see is originality, natural color, and clear details at coins. We always say knowledge is more valuable than money, because once you know what to look for, you see the world differently. A simple penny becomes a piece of history, a tiny mistake becomes a treasure, and a forgotten coin becomes a conversation starter among collectors. The market value of a 1981 D Lincoln penny depends on condition, rarity, and whether it has a verified mint error. Common circulated examples are worth face value, but high-grade examples and error coins can reach impressive prices in the collector market, especially when demand rises and supply remains low. This is why coin collecting is not about getting rich overnight, it is about patience, learning, and smart decisions. The people who make money in this hobby are the ones who study, who look carefully, and who respect the history behind every coin. So the next time someone tells you a penny is worthless, remember this video, remember the 1981 D Lincoln penny, and remember that value is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, small, and hiding in plain sight. If you love discovering hidden value, rare coins, and real stories behind everyday money, make sure you subscribe to Coins, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than 1 cent. Today's story is about a simple-looking Lincoln penny from 1981 that many people have ignored for decades, but collectors now search for with extreme passion because some examples of this coin have shocked the coin world with unbelievable prices and mysterious errors that most people never notice. Imagine holding a penny that looks ordinary but could be worth more than a luxury house. Sounds crazy, right? But stay with me because this story will completely change the way you look at your loose change. The Lincoln penny has always been a symbol of American history and pride, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, and since then it has been produced in massive numbers every single year. By 1981, pennies were already a part of everyday life, tossed into jars, car cup holders, and drawers, and nobody really cared about them. But that is exactly what makes the 1981 Lincoln penny so interesting, because hidden among millions of common coins are rare varieties that collectors now fight over. In 1981, Lincoln pennies were struck at different mints and in different metal compositions. This was a time of transition for the U.S. Mint because copper prices were rising and changes were coming. Most people don't realize that even small differences in metal content, weight, strike quality, or minting mistakes can turn a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. And this is where the 1981 Lincoln penny enters the spotlight. Some 1981 pennies were struck with incredible sharp detail, strong luster, and perfect surfaces. When these coins survive in extremely high grade, untouched by circulation, they become extremely rare. Collectors don't just pay for age, they pay for condition, and top condition 1981 Lincoln pennies are surprisingly hard to find. Over the years, collectors have discovered that certain examples graded at the highest levels can reach jaw-dropping prices at auction. Even more exciting are the rare error coins from 1981. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process, and once they escape into circulation, they become accidental treasures. These errors include doubled dies where the lettering appears doubled, off-center strikes where the design is misaligned, wrong planchet errors where the coin is struck on the wrong metal, and dramatic die cracks that look like lightning across Lincoln's face. Each error tells a story of a machine failure frozen in time. One of the most talked about rumors in the coin community is that an extremely rare 1981 Lincoln penny with unique characteristics and flawless condition has been linked to massive valuation claims reaching as high as $787,976.45. Now it is important to understand that such prices are connected to very specific coins with extraordinary features, professional grading, and intense collector demand. Not every 1981 penny is worth this kind of money, but the possibility alone has sent thousands of people searching through old coin jars and inherited collections. What makes this story even more exciting is that many of these pennies are still out there. They were never recalled, never destroyed, and never marked as special. They look just like normal pennies to the untrained eye. That means anyone could unknowingly own one right now. This is the reason why collectors always say check your change carefully, because history doesn't always look valuable at first glance. The design of the 1981 Lincoln penny also plays a role in its appeal. The portrait of Lincoln, the clean lettering, and the classic wheat-free reverse design represent an era just before major changes in penny composition. Collectors love coins that sit at the edge of change, because they mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Condition is everything when it comes to these coins. A penny that has never been circulated, never cleaned, and never damaged can be worth hundreds or even thousands more than the same coin with scratches or wear. Professional grading services exist for this reason, and once a rare 1981 Lincoln penny is authenticated and graded, its true value can finally be revealed to the world. Many collectors have shared stories of finding rare pennies in the most unexpected places. Old piggy banks, rolls from the bank, inherited boxes, even pennies found in childhood collections have turned into valuable discoveries. The excitement of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so addictive, because every coin has potential. The 1981 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something small can carry enormous historical and financial weight. It teaches us patience, attention to detail, and respect for history. It also proves that value is not always obvious and sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. So the next time you see a penny dated 1981, don't dismiss it. Look closely at the date, the letters, the surface, and the overall strike. You never know what story that coin might tell or what surprise it might hold. The world of rare coins is full of mystery, and the Lincoln penny continues to be one of the most exciting chapters in that world. If you enjoy discovering hidden value, forgotten history, and unbelievable coin stories, make sure you stay connected with the Coins channel. Because here, even a single cent can change the way you see money forever.